Hello, everyone. A very lovely good evening to all of you. Hope you all are doing good. So, welcome back to our daily issue analysis, DIA initiative, and hope your weekend was good. You must have gone through our the motivation video which we have posted. If not, then really go through it because that is very important. Then, coming to your preparation aspect, that I am just curious to know that if you are balancing it or not. So, keep a balance on everything. If you are writing mains this year, then revise everything properly because now exam is just around the corner. So, focus on consolidation, focus on revision, have a strategy paper wise. If you're targeting for next year, then do analyze your preparation by when you are covering what, be it your optional GS 1, 2, 3. So go through the level of your preparation so that you will be in a position to understand that how you should strategize. Okay. Okay. So today again we have taken a very important topic from the current affairs. So let's start our discussion for the day. So today we have taken this topic of defense preparedness and why it was in news because you must have come across this news that Vikrant is going to be reincarnated on September 2, all about India's first indigenous aircraft carrier explained. So we are focusing on indigenization of the defense sector. You must have come across this news that what are this made in India FNSAS Nippon LCA which has been handed over to Indian Army. So Rajnath Singh has handed this to Indian Army F in SAS. So what is this? Okay. Then you must have come across this that Army Design Bureau signs MOU with Drone Federation for research and development in drones and counter drones. So basically the defense preparedness, if we are analyzing, then what is the role of technology? Okay. So this was in news. Also, in July, this was also in news that there is critical hollowness in India's defense preparedness. So whenever we say about critical hollowness, so basically in July, our CAG of India released one report about the ammunition shortage and large scale deficiency in other important military items and equipments. So this issue was highlighted by CAG. So in response to this, our former Army Chief General VK Singh and now Minister, he termed it as a critical hollowness, and based on that, now already government was on toes and government is focusing more on indigenization. And so the overall defense preparedness is now in news, and we should know that what is the status and what are the issues. Okay. Now we will analyze the status of preparedness of defense sector in India. So we will take the help of the estimates committee under the chairmanship of Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi. They submitted the report on the preparedness of armed forces, that is defense production and procurement, on July 25th, 2018. So this report was submitted by the estimates committee, and the name is also important. So whenever you are preparing for mains, this the names, the committee, they are important for you. Okay. So what they have highlighted, so the committee has observed that the defense expenditure as a percentage of GDP has ranged somewhere between 2% in 2014 to 1.6% in 2017 or 18, which is lowest since 1962 war. So this is the observation of the estimates committee as the percentage of GDP. Then if we analyze the capital procurement budget in defense budget of the total overall defense budget, it has continuously been declining. It has decreased from 39% in 2013 and 14 to 34% in 2018 and 19. So this is about the capital procurement. Capital procurement is important because revenue expenditure is about day-to-day life, day-to-day expenditures. But capital procurement is important whenever we are talking about preparedness. Next aspect is of self-reliance. So we are talking about make in India, we are talking about self-reliance. But what is the actual status? So self-reliance in defense, if we analyze, then the Department of Defense production, while deposing it, whenever they presented the data in front of the committee, they stated that the total defense production, if we talk about, so here 40% is produced indigenously and 60% is getting imported. And further, we have dependence on the foreign suppliers for the military hardwares, which finally results into huge expenditure on import of defense equipments. So this is the status of defense preparedness. We have analyzed it with the help of estimates committee, percentage of GDP, capital procurement, and self-reliance. Now let's analyze the challenges. Now we shall discuss one by one the challenges which is being faced by the defense sector. So the first challenge itself is the low defense budgetary allocation. So we have already discussed about it. So what is happening? The planned acquisition for whatever capital expenditure is there, overall, the present defense budget is not supportive for that. For example, we have discussed the defense budget has dipped from 2% to 1.6%, especially when we are talking in 2017 and 18. So this is lowest level since the 1962 war with China, which was disaster. So after that, बढ़ना चाहिए था ना, लेकिन वो बढ़ा ही नहीं. So what kind of preparation we are talking about overall? However, yes, the economy size has increased, but what about the defense expenditure considering the present requirements in mind? Second aspect, if we analyze, inadequate research and development is happening. Okay, so there are certain organizations which are doing work there. DRDO is there, and they are coming up with the different projects time to time. There are different organizations. If we are talking about our indigenous research and development, so that is very slow. The pace is very slow and inadequate. If we talk about the indigenous research and development, and also it is plagued by the time and cost overrun. Bureaucratic procedures are there, and the long gestation period is there, limited capability is there. So because of that, time and cost overrun is happening in the research and development field. If we talk about ammunitions, then deficiencies in ammunition is there, and it is affecting our ability to sustain the military operation over a period of time that is necessary. Okay, so there was a parliamentary standing committee for defense. It was headed by Major General BC and in 2018. So they reported that at present our ammunition is at critically low stock, and they also analyzed that 60% of the equipment of the armed forces was in the vintage category. CAG in 2013, it analyzed that 50% of the different categories of weapons, including tanks or the artillery guns, had stocks for less than 10 days of fighting. Okay, so since then there has been improvement because the CAG report is of 2013. So definitely the improvement is there. But for 40% of, still, if we talk about, then 40% of its weapons, the army still holds a stock for less than 10 days of conflicts. And that too, the ammunitions are old, we are talking about. So take the help of CAG, take the help of the Parliamentary Standing Committee for Defense headed by Major General BC in 2018, and then comment on that. Don't present your observation from general understanding or whatever you read in the newspaper. Take the help of the scholars and present it. Take the help of the committees and present it. Okay. Now let's discuss about the next set of the challenges. So the next one is the obsolete weapons and equipments. So when we use the obsolete, outdated weapons and equipments, it reduces our combat effectiveness and it exposes us to more vulnerabilities. Especially if we talk about Indian Air Force, then we are using obsolete फाइटर एयरक्राफ्ट्स लाइक मिग 21 एंड मिग 27. आए दिन न्यूज आती रहती है कि कोई एक्सीडेंट हुआ, किसी पायलट की डेथ हो गई और क्रैश कर गया. देन वी आर यूजिंग विंटेज हेलीकॉप्टर्स which are still in service, and that they are threat for the country, they are threat for the human resource as well. So this is one aspect. So if we especially talk about the modernization of Air Force and the human resource of the in our Indian Air Force, so both, be it with respect to the capability or the uses of the equipments and weapon, they are outdated. We need to expand the capability. सो एक एक राफेल डील को होने में इतना टाइम लग जाता है, उसकी टाइमली डिलीवरी होना या उसका तो कोई करप्शन का इशू होना. 36 राफेल डील्स की डील में 36 राफेल्स की डील में इतना टाइम लग जाता है, राइट. सो सच थिंग्स दे डिले दी प्रॉब्लम्स एंड इन टर्न we in turn keep using the obsolete weapons, जो कि is not good for the country. Next issue is related to ineffectiveness in the cyber security. So we have observed that how enemy is interfering, enemy nations, enemy countries or the non-state actors, they are hacking and they are otherwise attacking the databases and the critical infrastructure time to time. So there have been reports. Now in future they can either stall not only the army or the military infrastructure, but they can also hurt the national economy. And if we specifically talk about the capability, then we are dependent on the imported critical cyber equipments, which calls for immediate, deliberate review of India's real-time military capability, especially whenever we are talking about cyber security. be it of human resources, be it of hardware, be it of the softwares, or the overall capability of the human resource training and all these aspects. Okay, so ineffectiveness is there in the cyber security, or you can say poor capability is there, or up to the mark it is not there. Also, if we talk about artillery modernization, so there also we are facing the problem of stagnancy. And there is urgent need to buy approximately 3,000 pieces of 155 oblique the 52 caliber guns. Okay. But if we see the deal which we have done with the US with respect to the howitzers, so we have signed the deal of 145 piece of M777, 155 and 45 caliber. So that is the status. Be it the acquisition is also not happening at the rate जितने लेवल पे हमें डिमांड है उस लेवल पे हमारा एक्विजिशन नहीं हो रहा है. Okay, so these three are another set of challenges. Now we will discuss another set of challenges. So the next challenge is of low level indigenization is there, and we are dependent upon imports. So we have already seen that of the total defense production, only 40% is being produced within the country and 60% we are importing. And if we this shows our dependency of the on the foreign suppliers for military hardware. And there is a data by Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, that is the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. So it reported that India was the second largest importer of major arms in 20 between this period of 2014 to 2018, and it accounted for approx 10% of the global total and of the arms import which is happening. Okay, so this data is highlighting about our domestic capabilities, indigenization, and our dependency on the foreign players. Next issue is of delay in acquisition process. So already we have discussed that what or we all know the status of Rafael deal जिसके लिए इतना बवाल हुआ इतनी टेंशन हुई और कितना डिले हो रहा है. So delay in acquisition process. So there is a problem of inadequacy of funds, blacklisting of several defense manufacturers, and definitely how should we forget about the bureaucratic red tapeism, जिसकी वजह से acquisition process on the whole gets delayed. Okay, so our defense procurement projects worth rupees 1,50,000 crore have been accorded as acceptance of necessity. So India government has given in principle approval to a project of defense procurement worth 1,50,000 crore. But the problem is that it will take another 5 years before we get the deliveries of the weapons. So that way, this delay in acquisition process is happening and it affects the capability and it's give a serious blow to the capability. Next issue is of ordnance factories are there. So constraint of ordnance factory board. So the ordnance factories, they are responsible basically for manufacturing of the weapons, bombs, vision equipments, but they are also struggling. There are constraints. Various constraints are there. First constraint itself is that there is no uniform demand from armed forces. Indian Army की कुछ और requirement है, Indian Navy is requires something else, Indian Air Force requires something else. So the demand as such is not uniform. Okay, and they also face the problem of meeting their strategic needs, or they face this problem of entering into long-term agreement with the dedicated vendors. So they add another set of challenges to the capability. Even though firms are there, factories are there, but they have their own set of problems. And the last set of challenge is, or the last challenge itself is we are facing difficulty and problem in attracting foreign direct investment. So this remains, if we talk about FDI remains very crucial for the infusion of the cutting edge technology, upcoming technology, important technology. So there are issues which our investors are facing related to land acquisition. They face issues related to complex labor laws, uncertainty in policy making. So this was also highlighted by the economic survey in 2018 and 19 that because of the uncertainty in policy making, most of the time the investors they will not get attracted toward with respect to investing in the country. They face the problem of regulatory cholesterol, or sometimes the Ministry of Defense and the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade (DIP) they will in conflict. with respect to the computation of methodology or the requirement. So these problems they deter the investors. Not only that, sometimes the our conditions they will be very complex, and it will be not liked by the investors, or it will be not liked by the collaborators. For example, you must have come across this news just 2 3 days back or last week that Project 75 I submarine project future is uncertain after Russia pulls out. So Russia has raised a concern about the implementation aspect because of these certain conditions, and they are saying that if we will not dilute condition, then it will be difficult for Russia to participate on the present terms and condition. So sometimes the conditions also they deter the investors or the partners. So these were the holistic challenges which we have discussed. So sometimes you have to use the examples, sometimes you have to use the data, you have to use your analysis in order to add the depth to your overall analysis. This is how you should present. Now let's see the other aspects. So now we know the challenges. So definitely we should know the way forward. We should know the solution. So solution has been suggested by different committees time to time. So there was a committee, Shikatkar committee in 2015. So the major recommendation of this committee was that the defense budget should be increased somewhere between 2.5 to 3% of the GDP. So they recommended it. And they also recommended about the creation of CDS and Joint Theatre Command. So already CDS has been created. General Honorable, like late our Bipin Rawat was the first CDS. Now we are talking about Joint Theatre Command, where all the three services they can collaborate together, and zone on the basis of zone division will happen. So we have already discussed about Joint Theatre Committee, this command. If you have not gone through that video, we have discussed it in there. Please go through it. You will get a thorough understanding that why it is required, what are the issues, challenges, and because of which we are talking about creation of Joint Theatre Command and why it was in news. So if you want, then you can also check the description box. We will be providing the link here. Next is with respect to Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, we have already launched. So here we are focusing on indigenization. So the focus should be more on indigenization. So if needed, we should attract foreign direct investment also from the existing. We should increase the overall sectoral cap from 49% to 71%. So this we need to have. Also, we need to have this aspect of ordnance factory board. If we analyze already, we have discussed the problem is there. उनके अपने internal challenges हैं, the way function the way they function, or the way they conduct the deal with the vendors, or the demand aspect. So we need to corporatize the ordnance factory board, so it will improve their functioning. Also, we need to have a separate capital budget for indigenous weapons procurement. So we discussed that more for the capital expenditure or capital budget is less. So in the starting, we have discussed about that data also. So take points from there. Okay. So these are the way forwards. Next set of way forward we should discuss is of technology upgradation. So already Army Bureau Design has signed recently. I told you in the starting itself about drones. So we need to have this technology upgradation of, be it of artificial intelligence or using drone or the cyber security capabilities. Also, if we talk about of human resource or hardware development, we are dependent upon the foreign players who I so we have our own concern that if we engage with the foreign player, then it will be a matter of security. It will be a matter of giving our data in the hands of the other countries. So we need to develop our own capabilities. There should be enhanced synergy between the forces and defense PSUs in order to understand the requirement, exact requirement. Okay, and also there was a committee, Dhirendra Singh committee, which was set up to recommend how we can revamp the defense procurement procedures. So they told that there should be a new category altogether of buy Indian. Okay, buy Indian, indigenous design and development, and indigenous manufacturing should be focused upon. So that also they discussed about. So whenever you are covering this aspect, you have to always keep in mind that whatever it is, be it indigenization, procurement, or whatever deal we are signing with the other countries, it should keep in mind our present requirement. It should keep in mind our future requirement. It should keep in mind our capability, safety, security. It should not happen that on the name of deal we are submitting our rights directly, indirectly. Huawei company, it was in news that they are good. We are taking their hardware, but there are concerns that वो हमारा data theft करते हैं. So if that is the scenario, then it is not good. So we have to be very cautious. That's why sometimes these things they take time. A lot of delay will be there. Consensus building is very much important. Okay, so keep yourself updated whenever anything is coming in news, be it Arihant or in SAS. What Rajnath Singh has recently uh, inaugurated about FNSAS, they had handed over to Indian Army about the gear system, the overall gear system of the modern infantry soldier. So, like this, you need to collect specific points, a specific example, and you need to add into your analysis. Then only it will add value to your analysis. Okay, and do watch the video of Joint Theatre Command. It will you will get an overall understanding about the issue. So this is it. Hope you got overall understanding about the challenges, issues, defense preparedness. Now you have committees, data observation, challenges में examples हैं, data है, and now we have a way forward. And you also know that in why, in what context we are discussing. So keep revising, then only you will be able to remember these points. Okay, because these are specific points. And nowadays UPSC is asking only specific. So you go and please have a look at the previous year questions. The question will be not, let's say, if we talk about international relation, also the question will be not on India-China relationship. It will be specific, maybe with respect to the border or the security aspect or with respect to the trade. So, like this, nowadays, UPSC is focusing more on specific information, specific aspects of any particular broad area. So that is how we have to also prepare ourselves. Okay. So have a good day. Keep revising. We'll meet next day.